Hi, it's been a while. Welcome to the Knitting It Up podcast. My name is Annie and I'm your host. I'm podcasting from Montreal, Quebec, where I live with my husband and our little boy, Luke, who is now almost 9 months old, and our little dog, Zoe. I've been away for a little while, so it feels really good to want to podcast again and be back. I just haven't had time or motivation, I guess, but now I feel like I've completed a fair bit and I'd like to share it with you guys. So, I'll just tell you a little bit about what's been going on. I recently had my first ever vending experience at Fibration, which was organized by La Maison Tricotée in Montreal in the Plateau. And I went really, really well. I got to meet a lot of people who follow me on Instagram, follow the podcast, things like that. And it was a really fun experience and I can't wait to do it again. So it was really interesting to spend a day trying to sell my own yarn. I'm not really a good salesperson, I've learned, because I'm really the type to just kind of stay back and, let people browse and just be like, if you have any questions, let me know. But I mean, I guess it's different for everyone. Some people prefer that when they're shopping as opposed to the salespeople who kind of harass you or who always follow you around. Yeah, so sorry if it's a bit noisy today. It snowed last night, the first real snow. So there's some snow trucks up and about, and you might hear a lot of car noise from our condo building. So nothing I can really do about that. So that was my first experience selling my own yarn. It was really interesting. I'm hoping to be at Twist this summer, so this was kind of a good introduction, and I think overall went really well. I wish I would have had more yarn because it kind of sold out on the second day almost. I just had a very limited amount left, so I wasn't there on Sunday, unfortunately. So for Twist, that's definitely something I'm going to have to take into account and try to just have a bit more yarn available. So, the other big, I think, thing that has happened since I last spoke to you guys is I'm sure you are all familiar with Espace Tricot, which is my local yarn store in Montreal. They've started doing a knit night live, so it's a live YouTube experience. Basically, you go on their YouTube channel and you can watch a live knit night. And when I heard that they wanted to do this, I kind of jumped right in and asked them if they needed help, and they said absolutely. So I've been moderating it for them. I've been basically reading all the comments, watching what people say, and choosing some questions from the audience so that the girls could answer them while they're knitting live. So that was a really fun experience. We only did one. We have another one tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll be in it this time. Melissa kind of said, I could sit with the girls and knit as well. But I think it'll depend how many people they have because it's quite a big group over there. So that'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to that, which is also where I got my knitting mug. So that's from Espace. I don't know if they have any left. I don't know if they're available on their website, but you can definitely call them and ask them. I know they're very receptive to that. They might have sold out. I know they had limited quantities. They spoke about them on their podcast. So the thing about Espace is whenever they speak about anything on their podcast, it tends to sell out pretty much instantly. I always have to try to go regularly before they podcast to see if they have any new things before they hit Instagram or anything like that. So, yeah, I'm just having some tea, my usual David's Tea Lala Lemon flavor. I've been kind of on a David's Tea kick. Always around Christmas time. Santa's Secret. I got some Candy Cane Crush to try because I've heard good things about that. And I also heard Sandy, who is Sandy by the Lakeside, talk about, I think it's called shortbread, caramel shortbread. So I got some of that to try as well. I have an advent calendar that I purchased from Sweet Georgia, and I've been trying to film a little bit every day on Instagram, just on the stories, so that you can see the colorways for each day. So that's been going really well, and a lot of people have been asking me about it. So it is from Sweet Georgia. I bought mine at Knit City. You were able to sign up there, and they sent it to me in November. And each day you get a little gram of her Tough Love sock base. I don't have it right here right now, but you can definitely check out my Instagram. I do each day. I show what colorway it is. What's really interesting about it is most advent calendars that I've been seeing on Instagram, you know, they give you their minis and you can make like scrappy socks or scrappy shawls, things like that, just scrappy-ish projects. But Sweet Georgia, who is Felicia Lowe, actually took the time and included a pattern with it. So every day that you open it, you get a small part of a shawl pattern, which is really cool. I am not up to date on that, and you will soon see why. I have really been enjoying this advent calendar, and I really want to cast on that shawl. So that'll probably be very soon. So another thing that's new, I guess, is it's December. So that's been a little bit of a long while since I've spoken to you guys. But since it is December, I have decided I want to knit everything for Christmas. And, you know, I kind of had made that decision in July. But when did I cast things on? November, because that's organized. So that's been interesting. So I wanted to originally knit a sweater for Luke. I wanted to finish Alex's sweater, knit him a pair of socks, or 2 pairs of socks, actually. And I also wanted to knit myself a sweater, 2 pairs of socks for myself, a pair of socks for my mom, and a shawl. Okay, so you get it, right? Impossible. So I've really narrowed it down. I'm not knitting Luke a sweater for Christmas because he is so tiny and he grows so quickly that I just feel that I'm not motivated to do that. When he's a little bit older and he'll be in the same size for more than 2 months, I'll take the time and make him a nice little knitted wardrobe is my goal. But right now, no. So what I did was I bought him a really cute Christmas sweater from Gap. They were having a sale, and my mom bought him a bunch of Roots clothes for Christmas, so I'm sure he's going to be a very fashionable baby with or without my hand-knit sweater. So I'm going to definitely try to knit something for my in-laws, my mom, and a pair of Christmas socks for me and Luke. I think that's where I've landed. Alex, I knit him a pair of socks, and I'll show them to you soon. He's aware of them because he's always around me when I'm knitting, and they were originally for his dad, and then he said, no, I want them. So I don't think his dad's watching this, so he'll never know. Yeah, so that's it. So I guess I'll get into what I have to show you. I guess we'll start with finished objects, which I have quite a few. They're mostly half objects, but because I'm using them as samples, I consider them finished. So first I'll show you the socks that I knit for Alex for Christmas. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick and congested, if you can notice. So, sorry about that. So yeah, so these are the socks that I knit for Alex, which I think you can see them pretty well if I do that. Yeah? Okay. So these are the Mud Punch self-striping yarn in her Broken Bells colorway. I'm disoriented because everything's backwards. So yeah, Broken Bells colorway. I loved knitting with this yarn. It is seriously one of my favorite sock yarns to date. It is soft. The colors, the way she dyes them are perfect. So I just did, I follow always the same sock pattern. I do the Espace Tricot scrumptious socks, which are knit cuff down, and then just Kitchener toe and a heel flap. I wanted them to be identical, then Alex said he didn't care, so that went out the window. So yeah, it's really nice, really like a minty blue, which I don't know if it's showing super minty, but it's pretty minty, kind of a golden yellow, and a navy and a gray. So these will be for him for Christmas. These will go in his stocking, I'm pretty sure. So that was my first pair of socks that I finished, and I was pretty good. I didn't really have second sock syndrome with these. I just cast on the next one immediately. I think it also, a big factor was that I really like the yarn, so that always helps. But yeah, it's Chantal who dyes this yarn, and I am really loving it, so I'm definitely going to put in more orders soon for more yarn as soon as I've kind of used up a little bit of my self-striping stash, because I noticed today that I do have quite a bit of it. My friend Amma sent me a picture of her stash and basically told me that I am to forbid her from purchasing any more sock yarn, which, yeah, right. And then I decided to clean out my own stash, which was eye-opening a little. So I'm pretty good for a while. I'll show you some things that I was sent later from those Yarn Wish granted things that were happening on Instagram. I'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, so those are my first pair of socks. The next pair of socks that I finished, which was also going to be a gift, I decided is going to be a sample because it's in my BFL base, which I want to start showing. I'm going to be showing this to a couple of places to see if they'd like to carry it. So I wanted to knit a sample in it. So this is blowing out. No? Okay. I don't know how to hold this. How do you hold a sock to show people? I should watch more podcasts where people do these things, because I don't already watch a ton of podcasts. Yeah. So this is the Clark sock, which is a pattern by Jacqueline Salem. And it's knit in my BFL base, which is my Oxford base, in my Rory colorway. So it is a Gilmore Girl inspired colorway. And there's a nice long cable down the front. I did the heel that was in the pattern, which worked really well. I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks, but it worked fine. And then I just Kitchener the toes, as one does. But I really love this colorway. It's showing up a little wonky. I don't know if I should move my camera a little more. Maybe. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, so there's a bit of blues, pinks. It kind of looks like a Pop-Tart. That was the goal. Rory, Pop-Tarts, you know. If you're a Gilmore Girl fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this was one of the colors I had at Fibration, which sold out quite quickly. And I noticed that my BFL base sold out instantly. I didn't have that much of it, but it was very, very popular. I think people are looking for more of like those rustic yarns. I'm going to move the camera again. Sorry. People are looking more for rustic yarns lately. Sturdy yarns, things that they can maybe even do color work with. I know that those color work mittens are all the rage right now. So, yeah, BFL. Who knew? I also knit a sample, which is another finished object, in the Lorelei color. So this is Lorelei. I think I can hold it like that. I use the Evergreen sock pattern, which is a pattern that I saw Amy Florence from Stranded Dyeworks podcast knit up in a nice solid green, but I decided to speckle it just because I knew it was a sample and I just wanted to do an interesting pattern. So you can see the little trees. I used my Manhattan colorway for the toes and cuff. And I just did the typical heel flap with the Kitchener toe like I use for every sock pretty much. And I really like how Lorelei knit up. I just really love this color. I think it's just a really pretty speckle. So it's maybe showing up a little differently on camera, but it's a violety purple with speckles of gray, black, and a little bit of pink. So yeah, this is mother-daughter. And I think they go super well together. I don't know why. Lorelei to me is just purple. She's a purple girl. So those are two of my Gilmore Girl colors. Now, the thing I was going to say about Gilmore Girl colors, some of you might know I sell my yarn at La Maison Tricotée, which is a yarn store in Montreal, which is not super close to me, but it's still one of my local yarn stores. They carry my yarn in my Hampton base, which is 80% merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere, and it's superwash. So that's what this Lorelei yarn is knit out of. So they carry my yarns. They do not carry my Gilmore Girl colors. Those are only available on my Etsy shop. So if you are looking for my Gilmore Girl colors or would like some, just shoot me a message because I'm constantly dyeing up more. And if there's a certain base or certain quantity you want, I can dye it for you in one shot. So just a little heads up for the Gilmore Girl colors. They're not available at any stores, just on Etsy. So those are my socks for now. I spoke about this hat that I knit for Luke in a previous maybe live episode. I don't know if I spoke about it on the podcast, but so this is in Julie Astley, in her Hecto space, which is a worsted, and it's in the, I always forget this name. Oh, the colorway is something that I don't think of a lot. Anyways, I'll get back to that. It's really pretty. It's just like a gray with pops of brown and darker grays and blacks. So I knit this hat for him. I did not knit the pom-pom. And then I put a little pom-pom on it for him, which is a recycled fur pom-pom that I got at Twist, and I don't remember from where, but they're lovely, and I wish I would have bought maybe 5 more. So that's his hat. And then, since I'm a dork, I decided I'm going to knit myself one. So we have matching hats. I think it's cute. Does anybody else think it's cute? Probably not. But matching hats. I'll show you the pom-pom I'm going to put on mine. So this is what it will eventually look like. But right now I'm trying to find out the best way to put the pom-pom on because it has an elastic band, and I'll show it to you in a second. So matching hats. His pom-pom needs to be tightened a bit more, but that's what they're going to look like. I think they're super cute. So this is a Haricana pom-pom, and it is from Espace Tricot. It's a recycled fur, and this one is coyote, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So sorry to all the fur lovers out there, or despisers, I don't know what to call you. But this is an elastic band that's underneath. So since it's a beautiful recycled fur, and I don't really want to like buy tons of pom-poms like this, I just kind of want to buy the one. I want to put it on the hat, but I want to be able to take it off if I need to and put it on a different hat. So I don't know how to attach it. How do you attach it with this kind of an elastic band? You see it? I don't know. So some people were telling me put a button. Yes, but how do I tighten the button with an elastic band? It's not like it's a little cord or a little, strings that I can sew in. I really can't sew this in unless I cut it, and I really don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring it to Espace tonight, I think, and I'm going to ask Lisa and Melissa what to do because I feel like they would know. So those are our little matching hats, and I think that's it in terms of finished objects for me. I've been really enjoying what I'm knitting lately, which is different than maybe what I usually do. I usually feel very obliged by what I'm knitting, and I think I've realized, maybe it's because I'm feeling like, Luke is already 8 months old, and I might be going back to work in the spring, and I feel like my knitting time is becoming more and more limited. Whatever I'm working on, I really want to love it, want to wear it, and enjoy it. And I want to build a knitted wardrobe. So the thing is, as much as I love colors and, these fun speckles and things like that, would I necessarily wear sweaters in that? I don't know. I might occasionally, but maybe not on a daily basis. So I'm trying to put in a lot more thought and time into what I want to knit and kind of plan things out accordingly. So I haven't really cast on another sweater right now because I'm really trying to be thoughtful in my sweater choosing process and see what appeals to me. There are many, many sweaters out there that I want to knit, like the Sunset Highway. The other one that she just is kind of working on right now that I don't think has a name yet really looks like it's going to appeal to me. I definitely want to do a yoke sweater. I just have to find the perfect one. I also discovered that I kind of enjoy knitting with fingering weight for sweaters because I find they wear better on me. I find worsted a bit heavy. Now, not to say I don't want a worsted sweater, but maybe more like a worsted cardigan, things like that I'd be more interested in having on me all the time. I find with a fingering weight sweater, I can layer it a little more easily, which really encourages me to wear it more often. So I'm trying to see what's the next sweater for me, what's the next Big project. I have a sweater quantity for Alex as well that I should probably start. I'm thinking I'm going to start that in late December once all the Christmas knitting is kind of done. Make that my project and knit that up fairly quickly so that he still has time to wear it here in Montreal. So here there's like, it's like never ending winter basically. It stays cold up until about May, end of May. But he definitely runs on the warm side. So I want to knit it soon so that he can wear them in the coldest months, which happen to be January, February, April, March. I mix those up, but yes. So those are the months that he'll probably be more inclined to wear it. Right now it's actually kind of mild and just snowy. So December is a really nice time in Montreal in case y'all ever wanted to come visit and check out Espace and La Maison Tricotée, and I could write you up a list of other places to visit in Montreal in a heartbeat. It's really a really fun city to visit. It's also a fun city to live in, but I'd say it's more fun to visit. So yeah, I'll show you what I'm currently working on. And I think I only have one thing on the needles that I'm actively knitting. Unheard of, okay? So all my knitting and time and energy has been going into this shawl, which is a shawl from my mom. The needles are not, the cable is not super long, so I don't know how well I'm going to show you this. But it's the Meandering Shawl by Stephen West, which was so funny. I posted a picture of it on Instagram on my stories, and Candace, who is Transitory or Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast, wrote to me and said twinsies, which we're both knitting it. And I think we're both knitting it in like minty colors, which is funny. So this is the wrong side of it. Okay, so I think you can see it. I'll start here and I'll work. So do you see how it kind of ombres, if that's what you want to call it? I'll hold it like that. So it kind of gets lighter and lighter and lighter. This yarn is from the Blue Brick, which is a yarn dyer in Ontario. And I got some of her yarn at Twist, and I had been looking at it for a long time. My mother-in-law uses it fairly regularly. She has quite a few skeins of it, I think. So this is her Seafoam colorway. So that's a better representation of what it looks like. So I'll keep it there for a second. I thought that brioche would be perfect for a naturally fading yarn so that I don't have to switch out the color constantly. And it'll just naturally kind of do its own fade. So it's growing quite quickly. It's going to block out much bigger than it looks here. But see? It's quite big. Yeah, so I really am enjoying this. On the other side, you'll see the other yarn that I'm using, if I can hold it. So that's the other color. It's kind of almost reminds me of like a seaweed color, which I thought went well with the Seafoam. This is a one of a kind that I dyed up, and I'm loving it. I think it's such a problem that I don't have it as a colorway right now. Here, I don't know. It's really hard to show it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like being annoying. So it's basically like also a seafoamy color, but a darker one with blacks and greens. And I think this side is just as nice as the other side. So depending how my mom wants to wear it, because it's a present for her, she can alternate them depending on her mood. And I kind of like that one side's dark, one side's light. So it'll be a really fun wear, and I already have warned her that I probably will steal it from her. I have these stitch markers on it, which, again, don't know how well you can see, but there are little lights, and these were from my Stranger Things club, and they say, well, they have letters on them, and it spells out run, which was that, you know, scene with the lights in Joyce, where she's acting all crazy, but actually is totally right in doing so. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the fade is starting now. So this is how much kind of left I have of the ball, so it's quite a lot, and it fades into a brownish color. So it'll be really interesting to see how that knits up. It's definitely easier the second time around. I tried this shawl. I tried to knit it a while back with some hedgehog fibers sock yarn. Let me tell you, it's splitty. I don't really like their sock base. I know that's probably an unpopular opinion, or maybe it's a very popular opinion. I know a few people feel that way. I am in love with their single space though, so you know, their colorways are still available to me on a different base that I enjoy knitting with a lot more. But for that specific shawl, I had 2 of their sock yarns in their sock base, and it was just splitty. The colors weren't coming out very nicely. I wasn't a fan, so I just ripped it up, not ripped it up, frogged it, and I cast it on in other colors that I felt were more fun to knit with and more my mom. So that's the thing. We were talking about this at last episode of the Espace Knit Night, how it's, you know, gift knitting is really important. Well, it's not really important, sorry. It's really fun to do, and it's really sweet and thoughtful, but it's really important to pick colors or objects to knit that your recipient is actually going to wear and enjoy, because otherwise you're going to be pretty pissed when they open up a present and see a shawl and just kind of go, oh, thanks, and then just don't ever wear it. That would piss me off immensely. So I try to knit things that I know that people are actually going to wear and enjoy. I know my mom wears everything that I knit her, so it's not a complicated decision to decide to knit for her for Christmas. She helped pick out the yarn, so I know she already approves of it. And yeah, she sees it all the time too, because she lives with us and she sees me knitting it. So I feel like it's always a good decision to knit for my mom, and she's always very happy with whatever I choose for her. So that was an easy one, but it's very frustrating when you actually take the time to knit something from your stash, you know, of these treasured yarns that you've been collecting, and you give it to someone and you're waiting and you're expecting that, and this mainly happens with non-knitters, but you're waiting for that moment where their eyes light up and you know, they're just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, but you don't get it, and then that's just really frustrating. I know when I knit for people and I don't get a good reaction, I almost want to be like, okay, I can have that back, because I will wear it and I will treasure it. So yeah, I'm trying to be more, like I said, more thoughtful in what I'm doing. And I'm also a big knitter for others right now, which I'm not a big knitter for myself. So that's interesting. I've talked about previously how I do want to knit myself like a sock collection. I just haven't yet. A big part of that is because my calves are pretty wide, and like I just feel that, you know, people make all these nice long socks for their little skinny calves, and they fit them beautifully, but for me, I don't like the way it looks. Like, I don't like that stretched out fabric. And the thing is, my calf gets wider and then thinner, and my foot is actually quite small, so I would have to be decreasing a lot at like random intervals, and it would kind of look really weird. So I think what I'm just going to do is do slightly shorter socks and actually wear them and enjoy them. I think that'll be the best. I'm a little saddened by that, because I really do like the look of the long socks. So if anybody wants to knit or write a pattern for the plus-sized kind of girl that I am, that would be awesome. Or if you know of one. I don't know if anyone else has this problem. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe that's how they're supposed to look, but I don't like it. So I'm just going to try to knit myself some smaller socks. I'll show you the yarn that I'm going to cast on with. I caked it up because I wanted to cast it on the other night, but I was pretty monogamous with my shawl. So this is the Holly Jolly colorway, and this is by Cozy Knitter, who I love Christina so much. Like, it's almost embarrassing how much I love her colors, and I love her. I got to meet her at Rhinebeck, and that was so much fun. So yeah, when she doesn't update, it's really hard for me. I usually try not to follow her super closely on Instagram so that her updates go by and I don't see them. But I couldn't not get this colorway. It was just too tempting. So this is Holly Jolly, and this is going to be socks for me and for Luke. and it came with a little coordinating red color. So that'll be nice. I'm really excited to cast those on. These are going to be my first pair of socks for myself, officially, that aren't like weird, because I did knit one pair, but they were weird because they were my first socks. So these are like the non-weird pair. So those will be my first pair, and those will be the first pair of socks I knit for Luke. And they're going to be Christmassy, and it's going to be amazing. And the yarn is kind of living. I don't know if you can see it. This is my big porter bin that Alex got me for our anniversary. It's the green one, the army-ish green that I love. So yeah, that's a cast-on project to happen. That's pretty much what's been on my needles, what I've been waiting to cast on, and what I've been working on. That shawl has been pretty mindless knitting for me, which I really enjoy. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, it's brioche, how is that mindless? I have done quite a bit of brioche now, so I feel much more confident and comfortable with it. I knit the What the Fade, though it's not finished. I'm on the endless rows of garter, which, to be honest, I'm just not feeling. I might just cast it off where it is and live with it. Because otherwise, I have to rip it out, and there's such precious yarns in there that I don't want to do that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it in the bag for a little bit that it's living in, and come back to it maybe when I feel more up to it. But yes, the meandering shawl, I would not recommend it as a first-time brioche pattern. It's a little more complicated than I would start with. Maybe it's for me the way Stephen West writes his patterns that I find a bit confusing at times. It's not the most, he doesn't baby you in it, whereas Andrew Mowry I find really communicates it in a much more clear and simplified way. I think Stephen West assumes that you kind of know how to brioche. So definitely maybe start with an Andrew Mowry brioche pattern, or just someone else, and then move on to Stephen West. I don't think Stephen West is the best for beginner knitters anyways, personally. So this is my second attempt knitting it, and it's going a lot better. I knit it when I watch TV, when I watch movies, and yeah, I haven't had problems. I made it like maybe 1 or 2 mistakes, and they're not super noticeable, and they don't really bother me. So that's it. Take a sip of tea because I'm talking a lot. Cold tea. So, yeah. What else can I show you? Oh, let's talk about yarn wishes. So, I granted quite a few of yarn wishes this year. I didn't participate last year. I don't know where I was or what rock I was living under. But this year, I really made a point of it because I really wanted to participate. There's a couple yarns that I've been really wanting, but, you know, just due to budget or shipping or conversion rates, it's just not feasible. So there's, you know, a lot of US yarns that I can't get my hands on, or UK yarns. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way too about if you live in the States. There's a lot of Canadian yarns that you necessarily are harder to get for you, or just you don't want to pay shipping. Although your dollar is amazing, so pay the shipping. So I'll show you kind of what some people sent me. I'm not going to name everybody who sent it. I will just show you the yarn itself. The first real yarn on my yarn wish list was Legacy Fiber Arts. And this is in their Steel Toes base, which is 75/25 merino nylon. And it is the Oogie Boogie Man colorway, which is a Nightmare Before Christmas reference and a Nightmare Before Christmas yarn color. So it's super pretty. It's very bright. So don't know what I'm going to knit with it yet. Maybe it'll be another brioche pattern because I really enjoy using like a bright color and with more like a gray on the other side. And I think that balances out the brightness. We'll see. Or maybe there'll be socks because they're sock yarn. I'm going to have to knit myself a sock collection, so maybe this will join it. So thank you to you-know-who sent this to me. I really do love it, so thank you. So that was the first one that I received. And for that one, what I sent was I sent someone a hedgehog that they had asked for. That was their yarn wish. So I sent them some hedgehog fibers in a yarn club colorway that was one of a kind. The next yarn wish I got granted was Ritual Dyes, which is a American yarn company, which I spoke about ritual dyes really long ago, before that they were really, really popular, on my like first or second podcast. So I really love her color. It's called Rose Gold, and it's in her fingering 2-ply twist, which is an 80/20. So it's a nice, really it's rose gold with a little bit of purple speckles in it. There's a lot right there if you can see them. Yeah. So don't know what this will be yet, but I love it and it'll live in my stash. And I'm really excited to try her yarn. Then poor Chantal of Mud Punch sent me nomadic yarns, which was another one of my wishes that I don't know where it went. Got lost in the mail. Never arrived here. So she's following up with that for me, but that was super sad, and I feel really bad for her because she sent me yarn from her stash and now it's gone. So whoever it was that accepted that and it wasn't for you, shame on you. Yeah, sad mail tragedies with Canada Post. It's just shameful. So I'll show you another package that came to me. This was the biggest surprise of, like, I want to say my life, but that's probably not true. Biggest yarn surprise of my life. I really didn't see this coming. I really didn't expect it. And I am forever grateful to Dominique who sent me this package. I don't know what to say. I was really speechless, on the verge of tears, and it was one of the nicest packages anyone has ever sent me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll show you what she sent me. So the first thing she sent me, which is not yarn related, was a beautiful notebook from Rifle Paper Co., which I've already started to write in, and I'm really using it. And she sent me a card as well. So I'm already using it. I'm keeping track of my notes and like my shawl patterns, what I'm doing. So it's going to be my little notebook for all my patterns, which I love it. And that also lives in the bag. Then she sent me yarn. She also sent, okay, I'm not going to show you this because I'm started eating it already. She sent me David's tea. It's like chocolate bark, which is so yummy, and I'm really enjoying it. And then she sent me yarn. This was the original wish, okay? So Fawn and the Fox. Beautiful Life Aquatic colorway in her Badger base, which is a 4-ply fingering weight. 75% BFL, 25% nylon. I love it. So this will definitely be socks for me because I just adore this color. And it's going to be for me, not for anybody else. I apologize for the sirens. So this was the original wish, okay? She could have stopped here. But no, she's insanely thoughtful and giving and generous. And she included some Nora George. Wow. Like, I never would have had this yarn if it wasn't for her. So that was immensely gratifying and a huge surprise. She had mentioned that she was going to send it, but I forgot. So when I opened it, I flipped a little bit. This is the Golden Hour colorway. 75% merino, 25% nylon. I just, like, I can't. I can't. Thank you. And then, if that wasn't enough, she granted this wish, which I didn't know she granted this wish. And Hugh Loco. Sorry, I sound really excited, but I am. Like, when I opened this, I freaked out. My mom and Alex stopped and just watched me open it because they couldn't believe the beautiful packaging that she took the time to do, the thought that went into it, and how generous she was. So this is Hugh Loco in her spun sock. I think it's a one-of-a-kind colorway, so it doesn't have a name. And then she included a little progress keeper. Sorry, I'm really like fangirling over Dominique right now. Yeah, so I love the color, and it's a MCN base with cashmere. This will probably have to go in something. Maybe it'll go in a sweater of some sort. In that new Caitlin Hunter sweater. In some capacity. And so, you think it would stop there. You know? But no. No. It didn't. she sent me a Mrs. Brown's bag, which I have never had the nerve to order or buy, and this was basically a really big treat yourself moment for me that I didn't even treat myself to. Dominic did. So I love it. I think it's the Pixel colorway, if I'm not mistaken, that's on the bag. It's a pretty big size bag. I put all the yarn she sent me in it. It's like a medium project bag, I'd say. You could fit probably a big shawl or like 2 pairs of socks or maybe a small sweater. I fit a lot in my bags. I don't know what to tell you. I shove yarn in them. So look, I could fit all the yarn she sent me and all my yarn wishes in here. And it still fits. So thank you. I loved your package. You've inspired me in every way to really up my packaging game, which I'll be very honest, I didn't put much time in my packaging of my yarns and stuff because I'm just trying to get my head around the whole thing. You know, the yarn dyeing process and being a small business of sorts. So now that I've kind of settled in, I'm really going to take the time to kind of copy Dominic and be more creative in my yarn packaging. Yeah, so that was a pretty amazing yarn surprise in the mail. The other thing I wanted to show you is I participated in the Homespun House Gilmore Girls Club, which is closed now, I'm pretty sure. This was the second colorway, and it's gorgeous. It is called It Should Blacken Your Teeth and Rot Your Stomach, which is how Lorelai takes her coffee. So it's kind of a mauvey brown with a little bit of red and kind of pink in it, but very subtle. Like that red is showing up a lot more prominent than it really should be. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. This club has been pretty great. I really like her colors. The yarn quality seems, you know, up there. I haven't knit with it yet just because I've had so much other stuff going on. But yeah, I really do love that colorway. And Homespun House is definitely, to me, worth the shipping. And I'm really glad I just kind of splurged. That was a birthday gift to myself. And I'm glad I did that. So the Gilmore Girl colors are really speaking to me as a Gilmore Girl fan. And yeah, I don't know what I'll make with it yet. We'll see. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of my yarn. This is one of my Gilmore Girl colors, which I have some in the shop right now. And it is called Mrs. Gilmore. And it's a really nice medium brown, I'd say, with some mauve in it. So this is Mrs. Gilmore. That's my label. And it's on my Marlowe base, which is worsted, 182 yards, 100% superwash merino. This is really, really soft. I really like this base. It's squishy and it's really nice to put next to my face. I think I'm going to make mittens for someone for Christmas. Adding that to my Christmas knit list. But if I do have time, these will be a cast on. Unless for some reason they disappear from my shop in the next couple days, but I will probably take one out for myself. I have 3 of them left, which is enough for like a nice scarf or, you know, 2 hats. So Mrs. Gilmore, which was inspired by Emily, obviously, which to me, this is her on every level. It's her core, it's her wardrobe, it's her hair. Yeah, when I dyed it, I didn't even have her in mind, and then I looked at it and I went, oh my gosh, that's really obvious that it has to be Mrs. Gilmore. So that's one of my colors, and I'm really dreaming about knitting that. And I do have some in my shop, in my Etsy store. Then I had a couple of requests that I will show you. One of which is a colorway that I had at the Vibration, and this really nice customer bought a skein of it, and then she messaged me and asked for more. So I dyed her up a custom order of it. This is Suki. This is my Hampton base in the Suki colorway. And as you know, Suki's a chef. So all the colors are kind of food related or inspired. So you have like a really nice orangey, which is supposed to be like saffron, and the purple is like an eggplant. There's like a cream base to it, not just white. And then it's also speckled with, what else is it speckled with? Just another color, peach. So it has some peach in it, but it's a very subtle peach. Really, I think the saffron and the purple kind of take over, but I love this colorway, and this was quite popular at the show. Yeah, so it's just subtle speckles throughout. Yeah, do not have any more of it, I don't think, in the shop currently, but I will try to dye some up. My plan is to do a shop update in the new year, just Gilmore Girl colors, and then we'll take it from there. So yeah, so that's something that I've been dyeing up for a customer. Then my friend Sasha, who I went to Rhinebeck with, and we had a blast, and I miss her terribly since because we had such a good time, and I wish I could see her all the time. But we both have children, and she has a job right now. So she asked me for basically my Manhattan colorway, but replace all the blue with purple. And she wanted it on a DK base. So this is what it looked like, all dyed up. So this is Manhattan minus the blue, which I really like the way it turned out. So I've decided to offer it as a colorway, and it's called Gravity. So this is my Gravity colorway. So it's really a silvery lilac with speckles of lilac and silver. So they kind of look a little more black when they're speckled, but that's it. It took a little bit of pink speckles, which is just how dyeing works. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen when you speckle. It just shows up with different colors depending on the dye that you're using. I dyed up one skein of it in my cashmere base, my sand base, my Hampton, and as you see, it takes the color a little differently. But that's a pretty good representation now that the light is working in my favor. It has quite a lot of silver tones to it, so it's maybe a little less purple than it's showing, but yeah. I really, really like this color. I'm debating if I list it in my shop or if I keep it. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be a gift for someone. But yeah, really enjoying that. What else? What else can I talk about? I think that was the majority of what I wanted to show you. I've been doing a little bit of Christmas shopping from others, and of course I had an only child moment, and I was shopping for other people, and I saw something I wanted, so I bought it. It's not knitting related, but it is really pretty, and I think knitters appreciate this company just as much as I do. It's the Rifle Paper Co. company. So I bought myself a calendar. So this is a 2018 calendar, and I'm going to open it in front of you. So excuse the noise, but I bought it at Indigo. It was on sale, which was weird. Or maybe it wasn't on sale, but it was in the discount area. Don't know why. So it's so beautiful. I love this company. I love their, just their graphic designs, their everything about them. And so let's see. This is January. It's just so pretty. So this is going to hang on the wall directly above me where my workstation is. And what I love to do whenever I get a new calendar is I go to my birthday month and I read what it says because I look ahead a little bit. So the world belongs to the energetic. Maybe that's a clue that I should keep going to Zumba. Yeah, so it's a beautiful color actually. It's nice and minty. Yeah, I adore it. I'm so happy I got this calendar. The actual calendar part, it's a little smaller than I anticipated. I thought I'd be able to write things on it. That's not looking like that's going to happen, but that's okay. It's a piece of art, really. And then when I'm done using it, I can easily just cut out the July part and frame it. So I really like that. It's really pretty. Yeah, so not gonna lie, podcasting has been a little daunting to me. I just feel like sometimes I come across as maybe annoying or rushed or hyper. I don't know. It's just hard to listen to yourself talk and assume that other people also want to listen to you talk and hear about what's going on in your knitting world. But I'm deciding to put myself out there and not worry so much about it. It is what it is. I also find sometimes it's difficult to talk to myself on camera, but I remind myself, well, you're an only child. You've been doing it for so long. What's the problem? Why can't you do it now? So I'm just going to take it as it comes. I probably won't podcast every week, but when I do have an opportunity and I feel like I have enough substance to show you, I will do that. I've been really inspired by Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls. She doesn't stick to a necessary format, which is basically like everyone else does, which is weekly or bi-weekly. She just she podcasts when she feels that she needs to or wants to or has enough to show you. So I'm gonna throw the rule book out, which I don't know who invented this podcasting rule book, but I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm going to not include show notes, which I don't think I ever really have. And like I said, if you would like to know anything about the podcast or what I'm showing you, just comment below and I will answer you, of course, in a timely manner. Or you can check out my Instagram, which I post all my information on what I'm working on there, or my Ravelry page. So those tend to be quite current, although Ravelry, I'll be honest, doesn't have my current works in progress. It has my finished objects. So that's about it for me for now. I'm not going to edit this, so it is what it is. And I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you all a wonderful holiday season. I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am. And spending time with your loved ones. And keep on knitting, because it's the holidays and that's the time to do it. Also tune in to the Espace Tricot Knit Night, which is tonight. So that will be fun. I'll be there and I'll be moderating. So yeah, I hope to hear from you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the episode and enjoy your knitting. Bye.